In today's video, we are going to make tiramisu ice cream in a Ninja Creami Deluxe. This is another Ninja Creami recipe, but you can only actually do this one in the Ninja Creami Deluxe. You could absolutely make this in a normal machine. What we're going to do, it's going to be double layered. So we're only going to spin half of it. Let's do it, or let's try to. Yeah, I love tiramisu. It's really difficult to find a good one. There's lots of people that do kind of like tiramisu inspired ice creams. I mean, lots, you know. I maybe had it twice over the last 30 plus years. But it's not just about having, you know, a coffee ice cream mixed in with this, that, and the other. Tiramisu is also about the texture, the recipe of elements combined to create something super, super good. And there's a couple of things you need. Obviously, Ladyfingers. I think I got these in Safeway, but you can get them on Amazon. In the UK, you can literally get them everywhere. And all over Europe, they're available in pretty much all supermarkets. So we're going to need some of those. We're going to need coffee, and we're going to need something to change the freezing point depression of the bottom layer. We're going to do 2 layers. And the beauty about the Ninja Creami Deluxe, is you can actually just spin like the top half, the whole thing, or the bottom if you're not going to fill the whole tub up. And we're going to use that to our advantage here. We're going to spin just the top half. So we're going to divide this tub into actually 3 different elements. In the bottom, we're going to have our coffee-soaked Ladyfingers with the freezing point adjusted with erythritol. We're then going to have a thin layer of chocolate, and that's going to divide the 2 layers. And then we're going to do a cream cheese or mascarpone ice cream top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in another little layer of chocolate on top of that ice cream just before we spin it. And as we spin it, it's going to create a chocolate flecked mascarpone ice cream top with our chocolate layer underneath, and then our hopefully not frozen solid Ladyfinger base. Sounds complicated. Is. So what are we going to need? I have no idea at this stage. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get some coffee brewed up, and we're going to get some erythritol mixed in. This volupta. This is just erythritol and monk fruit extract. It's mostly erythritol, so it's going to be super good for depressing the freezing point of these. So let's get some coffee brewed up. I use an Espresso. So let's do, I don't know, I might do 2 of these tubs, you know, make it worth doing. These are 750 mils, so I'm going to do 1.5 litres of overall product. So let's start by doing 4 lungo shots of espresso. All right, I only did 3 shots, 3 lungo shots. That gave me around 320 millilitres of espresso. I don't think we need any more than that. So let's put that in here now. See, that's loads. That's fine. Probably could have reduced that down to 2 lungos, but better to have too much than not enough. Now, I'm going to put the numbers on the screen because I'm kind of winging this a bit. We want to adjust the freezing point of this liquid so that it doesn't just turn to ice, which it would do. And that's why we're using erythritol. So we got 320. Let's do 4 tablespoons of this sugar substitute. And let's just stir that up. That will dissolve super, super quick. Is that enough? I have no idea. 6, 12, 18, 24. So it's about 20% by weight, I guess. Now we're going to take our lids off. Don't take this video as I know what the hell I'm doing. No idea for this video at all. I wanted to try something different, and here we are. So, Ladyfingers, if you don't know what they are, they're like super lightweight sponge that's baked to create a crispy kind of biscuit. They're then dipped generally with a sugar on top that's flavored with, I don't know actually, something, and you get this. sugar all over me. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop these in here and then kind of get them in the bottom of here. Just going to do these one at a time. Make sure they're really well soaked. There we go. We're just starting to lose structural integrity. This is going to take me a while. I'll come back once this stage is done. Right, I actually did need another lungo shot. So I needed 400 and whatever it is, 430 to 450 milliliters of coffee with what would have 5 tablespoons of our erythritol in it. That used an entire pack for these 2 tubs. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 Ladyfingers. If you wanted to add another layer, I'd say you probably could. But what we're going to do is we're going to just pour some of that coffee in, because I kind of want a layer in the bottom like that. So if you don't like coffee, this one is not for you. Put these in the freezer for a few hours just to try and get it nice and cold, because the next layer on top is going to be chocolate. So we're going to do a cheesecake base. Mascarpone is just way too expensive at the moment due to the economic fluctuations going on around the world. So we're going to use straight cream cheese, very standard for a cheesecake. This is 8 grams fat per 30 grams. I'm going to play around on here and adjust the recipe to use xylitol. I want to keep the sugar down in this recipe. So it can't be sugar free because the Ladyfingers have sugar on top. But obviously we've used erythritol to balance the freezing point in our coffee liquor. So if we can keep this relatively low in sugar, jobs are good.
5 minutes later.
So after playing around on an ice cream calculator for the last 5-10 minutes, I've created a cream cheese gelato. So for that, we are going to need 244 grams of straight fat cream cheese, 540 grams of milk. I'm using 2%. Doesn't make any difference what milk you use. 79 grams of xylitol. You can just use 80 grams. 35 grams of skim milk powder. And because this is gelato, we're gonna use a stabilizer. We're gonna use a hot process stabilizer, and we're gonna use 3 to 4 grams of that. If you use something like guar, then you might want to drop it down. Xanthan gum, really bring that down. Super gummy if you use too much of that. So let's get everything ready in the pan. So with the milk in the pan, we're gonna cut up our cream cheese into just slightly smaller lumps, and that'll just help it melt easier. And let's get this on the hob. We're gonna warm this up right up to the temperature required for our stabilizer, which is 85C, 185F. I'll come back once that's done. At the start, it's going to be super thick and weird to stir, but just keep going and eventually it will turn into this. With that heated up, we're going to put that in there. It's going to be a relatively thick base because we've got a lot of the cream cheese fat in there. And that is okay. It's kind of gonna look like pudding. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this into the fridge just for an hour or two because we don't want to melt that chocolate. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to create multiple layers that don't merge together. Before we do that, we're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste into this. Nice. Right. Let's get this in the fridge for a couple of hours to chill down. And then we'll start layering up. I took 50 grams of chocolate. This is a 60% dark chocolate and 1 teaspoon of deodorized coconut oil, so refined coconut oil. Melted that in the microwave, and then we took our frozen base out, and actually it started to freeze harder than I'd like. So we covered that with a very thin layer of chocolate, and then once that's frozen, which pretty much instantly, we topped it off with our ice cream base. We put that in the freezer, and then after that ice cream had gone hard in our tubs, we repeated that step with the chocolate and put another very thin layer of chocolate on top. All right, 2 tubs. Now, something to note is I think the freezing point wasn't affected enough by the erythritol at this bottom layer. And I can tell because it's actually crept up, which means the expansion of the water has actually taken place. And that's why you get the Ninja Creami hump in the middle. So I'm not going to give up. So I've got a bowl of warm water there. Let's set one. Is that going to go over the top? Yep. Let's get some warm water in this bowl. And we're going to sit that one there. and see if we can soften that bottom layer up. We're gonna just see what happens. So let's get the bowl out of the way, back up. Let's take the first one. There is our chocolate. Top, nice. Let's see how this one pans out. Full tub, light ice cream. We still do have the divide, which is really nice. Let's see if we can get some kind of, that bowl's not gonna cut it. Let's get this little bowl out and see if we can get 2 different scoops out of one tub. All right, well, we didn't get the result I wanted. And I think adjustments needed. If we can adjust the bottom layer's freezing point to keep it liquid or semi-liquid, then this absolutely would work. The top layer of ice cream, which is this one, that's delicious. It's cream cheesy, such cheesecakey kind of taste. You can taste that chocolate running through it. That's delicious. The bottom scoop, which is the Ladyfingers soaked in coffee. Oh, that's good. That's really nice. You got a bit of that ice cream there. It's not the result I wanted, but tell you what, 2 different scoops out of one tub, and we got some chocolate survive the spin too. It's melting super fast. I wanted to be able to take something like that and go down the middle and just take a big slice of that out, but that still worked really nicely. Got to spin it on the light ice cream setting on the Ninja Creami Deluxe. And then you've got 2 different scoops of ice cream. You've got the top half, which is the cream cheese with that really nice subtle kind of chocolate fleck through it. Then you've got pieces of chocolate that break up on that bottom layer. And then you've got this super bottom layer, which is incredibly coffee rich. It's got a different texture too. It's like a sorbet texture on the bottom of there. That's really interesting. Hey, you know what? Like I said, it's not the win that I wanted, but it's a win all the same. I got another tub here which has been sat in that water, that warm water, and the bottom liquid melting. But I don't want to jeopardize the rest of it, so I'll just spin it like that one. But hey, winner! This is like tiramisu ice cream in it. Shut up! I can't really call this a tiramisu because it's 100% not. But this is really good tiramisu ice cream, 2 layers with chocolate in between. Ninja Creami Deluxe. Give this one a try. I hope you enjoyed this random take on frozen desserts, and I'll see you next week.